first. We're very interested in acting and theater, you know?
Can I interject for 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to say that Mass is a bit of a performance.
Yeah.
Mass, the priest is performing the last moments of Christ's life, and he is a vessel for this extraordinary experience, this extraordinary moment in time, and he is replaying as the host is imbued with the Spirit, that is a bit of a performance. And so different priests have different performances. And not to say a priest is an actor, because that somehow minimizes the sacred nature of the task, but there is a correlation between Mass and being an actor completely immersed in an immersive experience. That was my first inroad to Pio, was, okay, that Mass is an immersive experience. He's fully involved. His Mass was very different than other Masses that were performed in that it was lively. It was, you never knew which way it was going to go.
We have some films of those. We've seen Padre Pio sing Mass.
And it's an emotional experience. It's not just the tradition of it. It's not just the ritual of it. It's an entire journey that he goes through. He's exhausted at the other end. He's sweating. He's dripping. He's crying. There's snot. It's like the man went to battle. He went to war, and it feels like there's a death that happens and a resurrection, and it's extremely emotional, which is how he touched people. He didn't touch people through like these profundities that he spit. He was also an immense feeler. A lot of his contemporaries didn't liken him to an Aquinas or an intellectual. He was an extraordinary feeler. He was like a pro-feeler. And that was my first inroad to him, was the fact that I as an actor who feels that way, that I'm not like I didn't go to school. I didn't go to Juilliard. I'm just like a street tough who wound up in this wild world. And in Pio, I found the same kind of misanthrope who wound up in this wild situation where a lot of people put a lot of pressure on him, and he felt the enormous nature of the task. That was my first inroad. I'm sorry for speaking too much.
No, here's a lot of things were going through my mind as you were talking. One is, I heard Bruce Springsteen say one time that his first introduction to performing was being an altar server. So he's in his Catholic parish, he's an altar boy, and he said, there you are up on this stage that's well lit, and there's people out there, and you're dressed up, and he said it was like my first introduction to performance. I also thought of Thomas Merton, you know that name? The spiritual writer.
Oh yeah.
So Merton had all these friends in New York who were not Catholic, and he becomes a Trappist monk, which is a pretty, intense expression of Catholicism. So a lot of them came to his first Mass, and they didn't quite know what was going on. So one of his buddies, a guy named Seymour Friedgood, who was Jewish, said, what is the Mass? And Merton said, well, it's like a ballet with certain prescribed movements and gestures. Now that was the pre-conciliar Mass, the older Mass, which probably is a little bit more like that, but it's to your point about the performance of it or the drama of it, because it is a sort of recapitulation of the drama of Christ's life. Even the priest coming into the sanctuary, the word entering into flesh, coming into the world, the priest being relatively silent for the first part of Mass, the quiet, the silent years of Jesus. Then the proclamation of the word, that's Jesus preaching. Then there's the sacrifice of Calvary, etc. So the Mass is if you want, a dramatic representation of the life and death and resurrection of Jesus.
Also, when Mass is done really, really well, you feel like a secret is being shared with you. And good performances are this way. When you see really good performances, you feel like, oh wow, this person is sharing a secret with me. It connects in something deeper, where you feel like somebody is expressing something from in you, and you're seeing it up on screen, and that's what I get out of really good Mass. A really good Mass feels like it's sharing some secret with me, some profound secret with me.